Style for Life. I'm Stephanie Rumble, fashion stylist, accountability coach, and your guide to feeling good in your body and your clothes. Based in Christchurch, New Zealand, I bring over 3 decades of experience in fashion, fitness, and wellness to help you feel strong, stylish, and self-assured. Together we'll explore the emotional, physical, and practical sides of style, because true confidence starts from within. No matter your age or size, you deserve to feel confident and show up as the best version of you. I truly believe this. This is Style for Life. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Before we start and I introduce our fantastic guest, I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to the podcast. It blows my mind how many of you are listening, how many of you are tuning in. I've just reached over 12,000 downloads and I'm still kind of like, whoa, how did this happen? So anyway, thank you so much. But without any further ado, I want to introduce our fantastic guest that we have here today. This is Clare Maxfield. She is the owner and director of Image Innovators, which is a very, very amazing company based out of Sydney, Australia, who trains stylists, personal image consultants, and provides all these fantastic products for us all around the world. So, Clare, I've done a little introduction. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you've come from, and what your background is?
Well, let me start with who I am. So, I was a flight attendant. Had been for years, couldn't see myself doing anything else. But then the airline I was with ceased to be in the early noughties, and I was like, what do I do now? I've just always been a flight attendant. Anyway, I started looking around and I thought, I could be a life coach. Oh, colours. Everyone's getting their colours done these days. I remembered I'd had mine done in the 80s. And I kind of did not feel I was right for being a life coach because I was really good at what happened in the cabin, but the rest of it I had no idea what on in the real world. And I studied to be an image consultant. Well, oddly enough, funnily enough, maybe bizarrely enough, I trained here when Image Innovators was called the Australian Image Company. It was back in 2002. And from there, I ended up writing books and I ended up traveling, and then I started training. Fast forward to 3 years ago now, almost 20 years to the day that I started training here, I bought the business. It was just insane how it happened. So I'd started working for Anne before that, and she said, we want you to carry on with it. So here I am. Image Innovators has been around since 1997.
Wow.
And it just continues to evolve, and it is so much fun.
I remember actually coming across Image Innovators. So my history is I didn't train with you first. I trained with a little more boutique training company here in New Zealand. And I never felt quite that I resonated with the products they provided. So I went up to a conference. I came to a conference in Australia, and it would have been one of the AICI conferences. That would have been right? Yes. And I came across you and I was like, why did it take me so long to get to you? And the thing that really sold your business to me as an image consultant stylist was the products you offered were so good. And then obviously when I discovered your training, I was like, well, why did I wait so long? So you obviously train stylists too. Tell us a little bit about that. How does that work?
We have live training, some live training, predominantly most of it's online. And look, I've got over there, the folders, there's like in our style program, there's 70 lessons. And our colour one, there's something like 40 to 50. And a lot of people say, how can you teach colour? Because I know prior to coming here, I created one of the first online schools for myself back in like 2007. Because I like doing online courses. That's kind of in the 90s, that's what I was doing, or late 90s. But I never knew how to teach colour. And Anne and Ron Rainton, who used to have the business, she was such a visionary. When I came across, she said, come on, we're going to do it. And I said, how are we going to do colour? She said, we'll make it work. And we did. We'd started developing all of these tools, which we've now made available to our consultants. Digital drapes, we didn't have the colour app then, but so much of it. And people say, how can you do it? With the right lighting, you can. And it's about talking to your clients, getting to know what the lighting is, and all the way through the training, I'm available. This is the difference between where I am now to where I used to be, because prior to being here, I had my own school, but I was also an active, very active image consultant as well. So I was fitting my students in amongst everything else I was doing. Whereas now, this is what I do. I still present, but I just love being available to talk to the consultants, to create, as you know, the webinars, and then it's all there. And now we're starting to do masterclasses, and I've got one planned for October in Melbourne, where you just spend 3 days with me. And that way you can, hands-on everything that you can't necessarily do online. But the beauty of online is you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to pay for a hotel room.
That's amazing. And what do you think makes a good personal stylist? Like, in your opinion, what makes somebody successful in this business?
I'm going to preempt it by saying students come in, I think you're going to be great. Others, I think, it could be hard. And I don't always get it. But what you definitely need to have, it's going to sound a little weird, but try it, an eye for fashion. You've actually got to care about what you're putting on people. But you've also got to have an ear for their needs. You've got to be listening to them. So that is a little bit different to what I see. A lot of people out there, they just put clothes on someone that they think is important. For me, if it doesn't suit your personality, if it doesn't suit your values, doesn't suit your body or your colouring, of course. But your personality is so important. And you've got to, I was playing with this before, you've actually got to have an empathy for others. You've got to care about the people you're dressing. So often I get asked when I'm taking someone shopping. I did a huge shopping with someone the other day. And she said, do you have specific stores you go to? And I said, no, because a lot of the girls that do are getting commission or a kickback or something. I don't do that. There were stores that used to, and I always made sure I passed it on. But no, I talk to my clients. And so I think if you want to be good in this industry, you do have to know your stuff. But I've got to tell you one thing, it's not something you're born with. It is something you can be taught. I've taught engineers, I've taught nurses, I've taught teachers, I've taught other stylists.
So it's really having an interest in fashion, interest in other people. They're the two things I heard you say, really.
Yes.
So you've got to be genuinely interested, genuinely curious about what the person wants. And I think too, like from my experience, and mine's not as vast as yours, it's only about 19 years, not quite as long, is you need to have a little bit of an intuition about what the person, a little bit of an intuition about it as well, which you can learn and develop over time. So what's the person looking for? And, like what are their needs?
Yes, you've got to be able to read and listen between the lines of what they're saying and what they're wanting. So in my most recent one, the lady was going over to Florida to film a show and then off to Asia to run some, big corporate events and some networking events. And just chatting to her, I realised she had a very, she was almost, because part of her, she was an engineer. So you'd think she looked very earthy, and she was. There was a very earthy element to her with this fun, feminine side to it, who liked to be quirky, but at the same time had to be comfortable.
Yes.
And also I had to choose clothing that was going to look good on television for her. So the important thing is it's not something you can do like that. And I've got to say, don't listen to everything AI is saying.
No, oh my gosh. I'm so with you. Like, I've had that many AI colour analysis that have just said I'm cool muted, which is a summer for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. And I'm so far from that, it's not even funny. And it's just because my hair looks mousy brown and my skin, I've got blue eyes, right? It's just so not there, is that AI is not there when it comes to colour analysis. And I don't know if it ever will be. What do you think, Claire?
Oh, look, it's going to be really interesting. As you know, we've got a digital swatch.
Yes, which is amazing.
We started working on this 2018, I think. Didn't come out until 2023. It's interesting there were elements we were trying to do with it no matter what we did. The computer could not tell, we're trying to work out something to do with, whether someone can wear brights or whatever. The computer couldn't see or understand what we were talking about in the colour because it doesn't fall into its colour categories. It's like, as we know, and there's, some people who it's not going technical, but let me just say, with colour, if you're talking about a colour being really, really light or really, really dark, the brightest colours sit right in the middle, which it can be either really, really dull or really, really bright. But to a computer program, it could not see the brilliance in the colour.
Yeah.
So things we couldn't do. So, and skin tone. So we've got a calculator that you guys can use. But you'll find with skin, some skin, it doesn't pick up if there's a luminescence in the skin.
Yes.
Which
yes.
is what we need to know for our brighter and our
Yes.
colour groups.
Yes.
So, can it? Who knows? I'm never going to say never, but for now.
I just don't. I mean, and the thing is too, it's about the quality of the camera that the person's using too. So if their camera quality is bad, then they're not going to get the right colouring. Like even now, like starting this podcast today, I had a few technical issues and I'm using a different camera. It's not quite as crisp as the usual one. So my colouring looks slightly different. And I think that is going to play a part too in whether AI is going to work in terms of colour analysis. So I think we're both warning you all off AI colour analysis at the moment. If you want accuracy, you need a human, don't you?
Not just for colour analysis, for style.
Yeah, you do.
So there's ones out there, tools to measure the body. I've measured myself and it gets it wrong every time.
Yeah, I know, I'm the same.
I did have to sit there for a minute and go, am I just not seeing myself?
Yeah.
And there was an ad, I don't know if you've got it over in New Zealand, it's, girl with a Google phone going, Google, I've got a heart-shaped face, what glasses can I wear?
Yeah.
My husband laughs every time because I sit there and go, you do not have a heart-shaped face.
Yeah.
She's an oblong.
Yeah, well, there you go. So there's a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, and I think we still haven't quite. AI is great in some areas, and honestly, we all need to be able to embrace it in the areas where it works. But in terms of being a stylist, being an image consultant, actually, the human touch is good. So just coming back to the countries you reach, I know that Image Innovators is a company that really has a large reach. How many companies and stylists do you support through the world?
Okay, I have active at the moment. I didn't look this up, but I'm thinking when I send a newsletter out and they only go to my active consultants, it's around 400 it's going to. I know we've done over 20,000 consultations since it's been digital. And as to countries, I did start going through it. Let's say we are on every what's the word I'm looking for? We're in most countries. Yeah.
Right. There's 193 countries in the world. I have this weird factoid, Claire, because I had this lofty goal to try and visit all of them. I'm not sure that I'm going to get there, but anyway, so after my last trip when I got sick in Africa, I'm not sure about it. But yes, so I mean, your training is very widespread. You have stylists in many countries in the world. That's really what you're saying.
Yes, and like to the point with the app, I don't even know if you're aware, it's now in 7 languages.
Was not aware of that. Yeah.
We could possibly be just using British English.
I think I might be, yeah. So, obviously you and I know that many people call themselves stylists, right? And, they offer services. What's your perspective on the quality of delivery and product and training for stylists? What's your perspective in this area?
Let's just say I know our training's really good.
I do too, yeah.
I'm always reticent to comment on someone else's stuff if I haven't done it. So let's just say there's students from here, students from New Zealand, students from America, from other schools who come to us to get deeper learning. There are, unfortunately, a lot of stylist schools that have this, they say that colour's not that important.
I know, I've heard this
And
too.
I my belief from that is it's coming from because they haven't learnt it and they don't understand it. And you can't teach something you don't understand yourself. I believe you do need to know someone's body shape. Yes, you do need to know someone's personality, but you also need to know their colouring. If you're going to make recommendations for them, if I hear one more time with the right lipstick, that'll look fabulous on you.
Yeah, I know.
Because know immediately it's wrong.
It's interesting that. And do you think that you can be a stylist without training?
There are some people that have a natural gift. What I have found, I have worked with a few stylists who haven't trained, but they've come and done training because they knew things innately. They may have worked in fashion all their life, but they didn't know how to explain it.
Yes.
So, you know, there is that as well. When I'm training you, it's not just to put the clothes on. You want to educate your client as to why you're doing it. I've worked with some that they've come and said to me, I know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like that.
And
To be
that's
fair.
what they found with the training. The why came in, because it's all very well to work with someone and say, this is going to look fabulous on you. And they'll go, why? And go, just cause. Just cause is not an answer. We want to educate our clients
Yes.
because believe me, they end up loving us and trusting us so much. They come back. It's not as if you sort of go, oh, I don't want to tell them what necklines to wear because then they're not going to call me and I don't want them to know what colours. No, educate them because then they just go, I know I could possibly do it.
Yes.
As you know, like with our My Private Stylist program, they get, you know, there's over 800 images in there in
Yes.
3 different styles, which, little hint here, that's all about to be updated again
Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah.
a couple of years. And, you know, clients can go through and find out what's great, good, avoid, good only. And they can do this themselves, but so oftentimes I say, well, you do it for me. Because a lot of people are, you know, time poor and they go, just help me. And so it's nice to be able to say why, not just because.
Yes. And do you know what? I actually completely agree with you. I had a client I shopped with this morning, and she always says to me, tell me why this works and tell me why this doesn't work. And she's a scientist, right? PhD scientist. She runs a big organisation. And she said to me, so I'm like, okay, Steph, the brain's going. I'm like, well, this neckline's good on you because you've got this kind of bust, and this print works because you're this shape, and I can see the proportion works here because your legs are this length and your arm, da-da-da. And I think that's where the training really, really kicks in. I totally agree with you. So now, what motivated you to develop a virtual colours app rather than stay with the fan deck system that has been in existence? I had my colours done in 1988, by the way, and I still have my fan deck from then, and some of them have not changed. What has motivated you to move on to a virtual 2025 option?
Technology. Phones just evolved so far and so fast, and we knew that it would be the right way to go. Interestingly, what is now happening and what you'll find soon is because of the way technology is developing, there are more than just 2 platforms now. It used to just be, you know, Apple and Android, and that was it. There are multiple new ones. So you'll find out we will go, because there are phones, if you're not on either at the moment, you can't use our product. So I'm getting it rebuilt for that. But you know, some of them, you'll see it looking just like this. And what I'm showing you is a screen coming up with, you know, some of the images.
Yes.
Now, there are some digital swatches out there, but they can't do this where you click on it
I
and you get a
know.
full screen of the colour. And then when you click on it again, your face is in there telling you what the personality. I mean, I've got 1,600 colours in here.
Oh, I know.
Separate personality. Then, you know, down here, and you can put it against all of the other little colours
Yes.
at the side, and you should just compare all the colours. But that's just the colours. Then it's got all the stories about what jewellery, what makeup.
I know, it's amazing. Honestly, it's so streaks ahead of anything else on offer. And, you know, like I feel very humbled to be able to use the product myself, because I don't actually even offer a physical colour deck. I just don't it's just not, I tell my clients that this is what we do in 2025. You know, anyone that comes to me has a phone, and it really, unless you're over 85 or 90 years old, you're probably going to be operating a phone as well. And even my mother, who's 80, has friends that are operating phones and still operate a swatch well. So do you think this is the way forward in terms of colour analysis?
It's hard to say. There are those people that are very tactile who, you know, I've got here one of my other ones who love this swatch, who love the paper swatch, so they can feel it, they can hold it. You know, you're going to hear things like it's not affected because it's not backlit, but I find that the colours in the digital swatch and the colours in, you know, my paper swatch are very close. Will there, you know, if we look at that and that.
See, it's really similar. Yeah. If you're listening, guys, we're holding up a phone swatch and a Fandex swatch, and we're showing that they both look really similar. So if you do decide you want your colours done with the digital system, it looks very close to the older style Fandex.
Where these start getting expensive, unfortunately, is sadly the way the world's going, because the paper, the ink, the electricity, the time to make them, I'll keep doing it while they're affordable. Look, I know there are, you know, some in America, and they're starting at like $120 a deck.
Wow.
Which is insane.
It makes the cost of the colour analysis really inaccessible for most clients.
Yeah. So whilst I can do this and keep it affordable, I will. The interesting thing is we do have to print in-house. When I took over the business, so I've got my own printing company that does it for us.
Wow.
I went to all the big print companies around here, and they just went, no, not interested, because if you open up, now this one in my hand is 6 years old.
Yeah,
this is mine. They don't peel, but the other thing is if you open up one that I've just printed now or one that was open up, the colours remain the same. Whereas I know where I used to be when it was digital printing,
yes,
colours would come in and we go, okay, well that colour doesn't sit there anymore now, that's in that group. And
yes. So the digital way of doing it is so much more efficient in so many ways. So look, I mean, there's going to be people who like the Fandex, but again, they want a Fandex, they go somewhere else because I don't offer it. And again, for me, getting the Fandex from Australia to New Zealand was always challenging because there's customs duties and all of those things too. So, but yes, I think I agree with you. It is the odd person who does want that, and I just point them in the direction of somebody else. So
I was going to say, I love that you do that. I think it's great to know what you want to work with, what works for you, and give it to your clients.
yes.
Yeah.
And so we've talked a lot about colour, we've talked a little bit about body shape as well, analysis. What are the other services that your company sells and offers?
Gosh, where do I start? I've got all these little tools here. So, well, as you know, I'm holding up this is our style guide that goes with my private stylist. Mm-hmm. So my private stylist is our online styling platform. So this is the guide. We also, for consultants, we have draping boards, so you can do it in boards. And what I'm holding up at the moment are A3 boards that the consultants use. We've got fabric boards. Now, let's just try it. Which one's better for me, this one or this one?
Yeah.
And these are fabulous if you're doing a presentation. We've got face boards and you stick your head in the middle of them.
Yeah, are really good.
One of the latest ones, I don't know if you said, you know, our corporate colour presentations.
Yes.
Where we start talking about the personality. The quiz for that went live today, so I'm sure you'll be able to share, Stephanie, with everyone your quiz from your site, where people can discover, based on their personality style. Mm-hmm. You know, often we do have the personality that reflects our colouring.
Yes.
And it's just how it all blends together. So, look, we've got
many.
Lots of tools.
And really, obviously, a very comprehensive stylist training program as well, which I would send anybody who wants to train to be a stylist to do this program. And I am contemplating training to be a trainer too, so that's something Clare and I are working on together, which hopefully we can bring to New Zealand, because I firmly believe that to be good in your profession, you need to be mentored and trained by somebody who has a lot of knowledge, a lot of depth of knowledge. And I think that's why I gravitated towards Image Innovators as opposed to, some of the other sites on offer and other businesses. And again, not to negate anything anyone else offers, like you remaining completely professional about it. But I wanted to understand the why. And, even with my client this afternoon, we were doing colours. I said to her, she was a nurse, and I said to her, you know what? Doing colours is an art and a science. I said, it's a little bit like medicine. I hate to make the analogy and negate the extreme training that doctors and nurses and things do, but there's an art and a science to diagnosing somebody. Sometimes it's really easy. You can see that they've got X, Y, and Z, and this is the solution. For us, sometimes we can see somebody is something and we know exactly what we to categorise them or how to help them. Other times it takes us a bit of time to work it through. So it's an art and a science, and like you said, it's listening to those people and really working with that. But I have another question for you. You said you've written a lot of books as well. Like, you've written books. Tell us about that.
Well, you can see 2 of them here. I think that's only 2 copies of Getting Handsome left. Lattes, Laughter and Lipstick.
Yes.
Getting Corporate and Getting Gorgeous. Now, this was really funny doing this. So, a gazillion years ago, when I had first trained, and interestingly enough, so the story behind these is the airline I was with collapsed, and I was trying to work out where to go next. Mm-hmm. And I also discovered at the same time training here. Mm-hmm. So I did my training with the Australian Image Company, but then I got a call up with Qantas, and I got accepted in with Qantas. Fabulous. So I was up here in Sydney doing my training, and I walked past a bookshop, and there was my girlfriend's book in there. And I thought, I didn't know she'd written a book. And anyway, so came back and I chatted to her about her, and then I started doing this. When I was at school, you either did typing on a typewriter that came in a box with you had to hit return, or sewing, where I went to school. Well, I did sewing. So, I'm now mid-30s with no idea how to type. And I started doing newsletter. And what I started doing was 7 tips on women's style, and I was sending it out weekly, 7 tips on men's style and 7 tips on business building. And I was sending them out every week. And my mother said, why are you putting yourself through all of that? And I said, I'm going to turn it into a book. Anyway, then I contacted I was telling my girlfriend about it, the one who'd written the other book. And she said, well, here, talk to my agent. And I met her agent, and I create a mock-up of this with a little picture and a thing on each page. He said, oh, that's nice. Now, he said, I need another 300 tips. I think I had 50 tips in it. Okay, so again, not a typist, hand wrote out Getting Gorgeous, and then he took it around and he found an agent. So that came out, and then Getting Handsome, and then quickly after it, Getting Corporate.
Nice.
So, and then many years later, Lattes, Laughter and Lipstick, and we don't talk about my Indian stepchild that's only in India.
And you know what? It's a really big deal writing a book. So congratulations on that. And if somebody wants to find those books, how would they find them?
They can now, as of this week, find them on the imageinnovators.com website, and I think it's under resources. Up till now, I hadn't been selling them to the public, but I'm putting them up. So most of our tools, like our swatches, are purely for consultants. But some of the other elements, like my books and other bits and pieces we've got, I'm making available. So they will be, especially Lattes, imageinnovators.com.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Clare. And as I said, it's such a big effort writing a book. So feel free, guys, to go onto imageinnovators.com and look under resources if you would like to read one of those great
And
books.
They are available on Kindle.
Oh, wow. That's so good too, isn't it? So good. And tell us, just as a closing question here, what is your biggest motivator and what inspires you to keep doing this work?
Isn't it really easy? Easy one. You guys. So it's the one thing, I've got to say, the one thing I've loved about image consulting since I started, and I could almost go to tears now, is as you go through so many phases in your life, the business adapts with where you are. With that, it's not another plug for the book, but I wrote this just as I was turning 40. It's about women turning 40, although my mother liked it at the time. And at that point, I was working with a lot of women turning 40. And then I went through my corporate phase, and I loved working with all the corporates. And then I went through my training phase. Now with Image Innovators, I do less with the public. I'm starting to add a bit more of that because I do love the interaction. But I have to tell you, Stephanie, it is conversations with yourself, with the other consultants, with my students. That's what I love doing now, because I do. I've been doing this so long now. I love being able to share it. And I love helping you guys reach your full potential.
And we really appreciate it too. Like, it's so great for us as stylists having this network of other people and having you as our linchpin to come back to and ask questions. And I just last week had a bit more of a look through some of the services I offer. And like even today, I added to the quality of service that I gave to my client today, because you'd help me expand my knowledge into other areas that I didn't know. So, thank you so much. And look, thank you so much for coming on today. You've been a delight. I really very much appreciate it. And I just want to say to anybody who thinks that they want to train to be a stylist, do get in touch with me. It is something that Claire and I are working on together, and she does have an amazing stylist training program. And if it isn't me, it could be her. And it's really, honestly, the best one, I think, in the world. So thank you so much, Claire, for giving up your time today and for being such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Style for Life podcast. Don't forget, you deserve to feel fabulous at every age, every stage, and at every size. If you're loving the show, hit subscribe and leave a review. It helps more amazing people like you find their way back to life through style. Thanks again. Until next time.